What's up, fellas? Today we're back working on the little Nugget Civic. We're gonna make her bang today. So yesterday we just got our strut bars in, so today we're gonna finally make that sub work. Kind of cleaned out the trunk. Need to go get a new carpet, so that's on the list of things to do, but start hammering out our sub and wiring. Let's get this started. Alright guys, so we're back. Turns out there are no trunk liners at any junkyard. First thing that they do is they rip them out and put them under the engine, so when they leak, it leaks oil onto that. So, rethinking the strategy, we're gonna go ahead and lower our standards. So we're gonna dye our carpet. So I'm not sure that this is gonna be enough, but we're gonna go ahead and dye it with this. This is left over from my blue Jeep, much like that and that. So cheers for that, giving its life up. So we're gonna go ahead and start slamming some black dye onto it. At least we can make it one color. It couldn't be worse than what it is now, but I would rather not see all those stains. So, used this stuff before, it actually holds up pretty good. I don't know how well it's gonna lay over oil, but we'll find out together. And as far as the audio goes, we already have a deck in there. Believe it's possibly a JVC, I can't keep track anymore. So, once again, we have a 360 watt amp from TMA. This is once again from the blue Jeep, so shout out to that. And we're gonna go ahead and throw in our 10, I think it's a 10-inch square kicker sub, and some spot on new, I think, new concept wiring. That's about 30 bucks, I think. So, bought that during the engine swap as well, because, you know, that was a time of spending. So we're gonna go ahead and slam all this in the Civic today, dye that carpet, make the rear look pretty new. If I can find any more than this, I'd rather not go out and buy, I'd rather just buy new carpet, but if I can find any more of this on our shelf, then I'll go ahead and spray the entire trunk black, but for now, we're just gonna do the bottom, so get right into her. So if that's not the worst carpet you've seen, I'm not sure what is. That is just gnarly. And we're gonna have enough of this to do, it's probably under half a can, so enough to do that stain. So, see how far we can get until we run out, and then plan C at that point, I guess, which I'm not sure what it is, but figure that one out. Well, boys, I'd say that's not terrible. However, we did run out. So I put a little bit of strategy in this, thinking that the sub's gonna go here, which will cover most of that. And that side I'm gonna have a battery. And that's what you'll see. And hopefully you won't see much of this. Now the issue is you're gonna see all of that. The sub's gonna move and you'll see that. And I don't have a battery for the back yet. So, that's where we're at. To be fair, this stuff actually looks pretty good. Once it cures, you vacuum it and then it's back to fluffiness. And it actually holds on pretty good. So definitely recommend the dye. Would definitely recommend having enough dye, but it's good enough. So on to the next issue. So the plan for the trunk at this point is gonna be the sub will sit here, and eventually we will do a battery relocate and it'll sit right there. So then you'll have roughly 3 inches of trunk usable space right about here. And then on the other side of that bar, so will work, who knows, we'll see what happens. I'm debating mounting the amp to the seats, or the ultimate no-no, throwing it on the sub itself, which is frowned upon, but I like doing stuff that's frowned upon. So now when we're running wires, we're going to run our power wires for the sub on the passenger side here, and then our RCAs for the amp signal on the driver's side, so we're not getting a whole lot of interference is the word between those two. So that's the plan. So now we gotta start ripping our interior apart, disconnect our battery, and running our beautiful wires. I've lost our beautiful wires here. For 30 bucks, this is actually a pretty good kit. These are aluminum wires though, which is 30 bucks. So what do you want? 30 Canadian bucks, which is a huge difference. So we're gonna go ahead and not use the loom or the ground. And probably none of those. And bam! So we're gonna go ahead and start sliming these together. I gotta figure out this amp and how we're gonna go ahead and wire this up. I believe that's heavy as hell. Excuse the mess, this has been sitting on a shelf for pretty much over a year at this point, so positive, negative, positive, negative. Signal wires should go here, and then RCAs should probably be on the other side, so pretty straightforward. Gotta love that. Love this amp. I believe it's actually a JL knockoff, but they're good things. I like them. Had this Nugget for like 3 years. She's been doing pretty good. So figure out how we're gonna mount that, start running our wires, and we'll be good to go. Guys, we went ahead, we got our fuse wired in here, and you want to make sure you're keeping this as close to the battery as possible, so I'm just gonna run it here, and then I'll be able to tuck this underneath the battery tray, and it'll be kind of hidden for now. So once again, this is gonna be pretty temporary until I do my big battery upgrade and battery relocate, but I don't know when that's gonna be, so we want to do it kind of nice. Got our seals and insulators in. Then we gotta go ahead and start running our power wire. Damn boys, it's like every day my car looks like this. So we have made some progress. We've ripped apart the center dash, lower dash, driver side, passenger side, all that good stuff. We ran our RCAs up here under the steering column and along here. So now I gotta go along and do a lot of cable management here and tidy everything up, make sure it's nice and tight. We're gonna leave everything loose until I know it works. Then we ran our RCAs back under the hood latch cable here, and then we're gonna start running them along these side panels. And to do that, I just took off the bolts on the side of the seat here so I can get a little bit of tilty action. And then you pry up on the edge here. There's a few tabs here. Pop that up, and then you can just tuck the wires under here. So I have them running along the edge here, and that's a very important no-no. So RCAs are very delicate. You want to avoid kinking them and especially pulling them. Once you pull them, you will pretty much pop them right away and they won't work, so you gotta be very careful. It's actually pretty annoying, so keep that in mind. And we just ran them along here underneath this little tray. It's all nice and tight. Moving to the back, we did unbolt our seat belt here. And then once again tuck them up nice and tight. This is a sedan, so we have a little more room. Tucking them under this panel here, and this is where they come out. And then we're gonna just thread them along here underneath this cushion, through the back away from the hinge. And then we're in the trunk. So that'll be one side done. We're gonna do that entire process for the power side. Right on. Now, especially if you have a really good kit, you're gonna have a lot thicker of a cable. This is like 4 gauge, maybe. It's pretty small. But anyway, it's definitely a good idea to have some sort of wire loom. Something like this running across it. I did loom the part from the battery to the fuse just to make it look good, but ideally you'll want to do this along the entire length, especially when you're going through grommets and stuff. However, I'm not doing that simply because it'll save me some time, and I'm really hoping we're going to do a relocate soon, so that's the thought process behind that. So we're going to go ahead, start slamming this side together. It's going to be the same as the other. Hopefully we'll have this done pretty soon, and then we can test out our sub carpet. Looking pretty good, actually. Actually, it looks really bad, but in person, that looks really good. So we'll throw that in, do a vacuum, and the trunk should actually look pretty good. So we're almost there. Just got a power wire to run. Then we can tie up loose ends back here, make everything look good, throw our trunk together, test out our bang box. That sounds terrible. Test her out, see how she sounds. So I'm gonna pile away, start doing that side, hopefully get this tied up in the next hour, because apparently it's supposed to storm. However, my little area right here, not looking so bad. So we're gonna hustle here and get that bad boy in real quick. See you guys then. Alright guys, so we just finished trying our power and our RCAs along either side of the car. Got most of the panels kind of buttoned up, so now we're gonna start throwing our amp in. The way I figure is I'm gonna go power and negatives, and then signals on this side, and then I'll have the RCAs coming at the top. The reason I went with this is I don't want a ton of wires coming out of the sides. I'd rather 2 at the top and then all the mains come out and straight under the trunk liner. So I went ahead and I marked where the amp is going to sit. I marked all the holes, and we're going to go ahead and mount it directly to the driver's side rear seat here. I'm going to go closer to the bottom, but doesn't really matter too much for me. And then we can start running our cables and start cutting length and putting ends on and pretty much finalizing this whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this now to the back of the seat. Everything's nice and tidy. Start throwing everything back together, start mounting our amp. We can finish our wiring and throw our sub in and test her out and see if she works. Got everything test fit in. We got our power and everything else here running back to the amp. We got our power going in here, our ground, self tap to the side of the tub, and then our signals to the amp so we can string this out. I'm gonna throw it together, test her out, and start putting our trunk back together. Hopefully we'll have a car together soon. It'll look like it's in one piece. I got a bit of work to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and slam this together off camera and get her fired up. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go ahead and run this wire probably under the carpet here. Make it a little more cleaner, but staring in, I think the dye turned out pretty good. I just need to vacuum it. It'll make it look like a carpet again. At least it's one color now. This may be temporary, who knows at this point. So I got my little fluids rack, little strut bar. Amps mounted pretty good there. Got our sub wired up. I'm just gonna slam the interior together, but that's pretty much it. So next step, I gotta pick up some push tabs, tuck the wiring a little more, slam my interior together, then we're damn near good to go, boys. So half a trunk, enough room for battery relocate here in the future, so getting pretty damn close to being done. Alright, well, I'd say it's time to clean. Alright guys, so that's all I got for today. Throwing that sub and amp in. A little bit of dying. That stuff works pretty good actually if you have enough. Yep. Sprays on like spray paint, and then you vacuum, and then it's carpety. So definitely recommend. You can use it on pretty much everything, like plastic, dashboard, anything. I've done center consoles, dashboards, carpets, so holds up pretty good too. It's a lot better than paint. Paint will flake off. Dye will dye it. So anyway, I'm out cruising. Time to go wash the thing, vacuum this poor thing out, and then actually like wipe it down. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't know what we're doing, but yeah, see you then.